good smoking right here. I'm just smoking this thing right here. You want some? You want some of this? Oh God, that's good. Good morning, all. Someone made a comment, so I'm responding to that. When is 6/6? Does anybody know? Like, when I say when, obviously I know when, but like, it has occurred to me that we did 5/5, and it would seem like it would be almost like an imperative that we do a 6/6. I know this is soon, but the hospitality community, they could do it. It was, they didn't really do much last time. It probably took them, I'd say if you added up all the meetings that they had, it was probably like 7 minutes total, right guys, right everybody? I'm totally joking there, but I'm going to watch the 6/6 thing and see what that's about. Good morning, all. Welcome today, and welcome to today. It's great to have you here. It's never too soon. That is the response I like to see. I love it. Okay, let's do it. 6/6. We will. It could even be a psychic event. It really could. I think we're there. Where we could. Oh my goodness, there's 66 people watching now. Love that. That's great. So I am James True, your host. I've had a tumbled re-entry. It has been a whirlwind. Lots have happened. If you want to catch up on the drama of it all, you can wait till the end of the show, because I just there's too much content here. I have to show you this. Some of you are new to my work. Some of you are old to my work, but you maybe missed some things. And honestly, I don't know of one industry that doesn't purposely repeat their product, whether it be music or comedy or writing. Even they say it's you get it, but I crash course in compassion here, guys, because there are two different modes. There are three different modes of looking at reality. And there's obviously a lot more, but I want you to see at least three today. And if it gives you any kind of idea of what I've been going through, it's going to make me feel better. It streams to make me feel better. And I don't actually feel bad. I deserve to feel better, because every time I pull off a major accomplishment, the last one was Arc Baphomet. That was a big accomplishment for me. The second I got back, there was like someone right there in the life that was like, "Why are you so tall? You piece of shit. You need to stump over." And it's all of that beautiful energy of 5/5 is right there, and those same ones are there. And it stops this flux that I keep wanting to leverage like a double bounce on a trampoline, right? And it mutes it, but it never stops it. And the confidence that I have that that's what's happening has actually gotten me through. And it becomes necessary for me to use this to alchemize only what I think, only what James True thinks compassion really means. Like really, really, really means. What it's like to truly love someone, and what it's like to live in a realm where you feel that you are doing your best to truly love someone. And so you behave the way that I behave, and you develop definitions such as compassionate, which is something that I needed to create, because it's how I can no longer not see the world in this way. And maybe you'll agree. And either way, it doesn't matter, because it's going to give you something to build a construct off of. The standard definition of compassion is predicting and emulating the pain of others. And so compassion is reduced to a lexicon for pain. One of 16 faces that you're supposed to circle because the nurse or the doctor doesn't have enough humanity to ask you how you're feeling, so they've reduced it to a 16-bit grid of, how sad are you? Is this sad face indicative of your pain? Or is this angry face indicative of your pain? And none of it makes any sense, and anyone who's ever been accused of being an empath sees that and it's just like, wow, this is hard. I don't even know how to answer this. And so we're living in a field where compassion is a measurement of pain. And when you really think about what that is, you realize the truth is always in the room. So you can't even reject this definition. It's simply giving you a better clue about what's going on. Let me make sure I'm mic'd up. Everybody can hear me, right? And so this leads us to understand that pain is a radiation. That pain is a radiation that many cannot process, and so it hurts. And the standard definition of most of the people out there, the ones that came before us, the proud ones that brought us here, the shoulders of the very giants we stand on. Sorry, my computer's. The shoulders of the very giants we stand on brought us here, and they've told us what compassion means, and they've said, compassion is this painful radiation, and that you feel it. And that we notice that when someone cannot compassionate, what they're really telling you is that it hurts too much. There's too much hurts here. And so I cannot compassionate that person because the radiation of their emanation is too much for me. Their time bubble, their reality bubble, burns my skin, they say. And it hurts. The truth is always in the room. The room that you're in was built out of sticks behind the walls of truth. And the walls and the wallpaper that we have up, we did that. Not truth. We did that. And that's truth too. It's a beautiful, beautiful relationship we have here. The dolphin compassionates from a parabolic diaphragm in its frontal lobe. It compassionates. And when you watch another video of a woman swimming with dolphins, and the dolphin starts to get frisky, and the next thing you know, there's the woman's trying to sue the dolphin for rape. You are watching the instruments of compassion. And when you hear this, some of you might say, James, are you blaming the victim? Are you blaming the victim, James? And the answer is yes. I'm saying to you that you and I have a broad reach of our consciousness. And so too does the dolphin. And to understand the dolphin would be that we could at least understand just that middle brain part of ourselves. And we would understand that the dolphin uses sex for play, and that the dolphin asked you, would you like to play? And your answer was yes. You literally paid for the privilege to play with the dolphin, and the dolphin agreed. And that dolphin compassionated you better than you compassionated the dolphin. I am not the dolphin's lawyer, but this would be my defense. And I hope that that Flipper finds some justice. The submarine compassionates from a parabolic diaphragm in its frontal lobe. This is exactly what I said about the dolphin. That a nuclear sub, the USS Wolf in this case, has constructed a parabolic compassionating dish, diaphragm, and placed it in its frontal lobe, and it's able to compassionate the ocean floor. It can compassionate what it senses so well it can give you the signature of the propeller that it hears 500 miles away. It can reference that signature and tell you, that's the SS Vetrovik out of Kiev. It has a capacity of 400 tons of nuclear cargo and a duration of 17 miles under sea and ice. And it's compassionating the same way a dolphin does. The human compassionates from a parabola dish, connecting every tooth and bone directly through the face at a place we call the cranial nerve. It's exactly the same. There's not a spot of difference in this sentence. The only difference is the word humans. That you are a submarine, a dolphin with knees, and that you see through the eyes of compassion, not sight. And you listen through the ears of compassion, not hearing. And that you build a construct of those around you, and that you're a genius enough that you can say, that is the SS Linda. And she's coming in hot, right? The human skull is a parabolic surface. The skull has a vertex. It has a focal point called the pineal gland. Parallel rays of light enter the reflector and are given focus. The center of the skull, your first eye, some of you new to my work would call it your third. I make no obligations on anyone to number that eye in a specific order. But that focal point comes to the first eye, and the shape of the parabola itself fits the same definition that we spoke of long ago when I was explaining that shape itself is an engine. That the shape and the texture of something is enough of a technology that we don't need to explain anything else, but we have been living in a realm where we've constantly needed to explain that there's something special in addition to the shape, and there's not. Shape is an expression of a calligraphy, which is a desire, and as you're about to see, the desire is something that we place into a diaphragm, and that desire is crucified in the light of listening. That every diaphragm and every microphone has one thing in common: the mylar is stretched between poles. And that stretching between the poles creates the desire to hear a certain frequency. And the desire of that certain frequency is literally a magical transaction where we extract information from the environment by paying a gas fee. The cranial bones form this perfect parabolic shape, and they're complemented by the teeth. The mandibles form a vaulted cathedral that focuses the energy. Our throats become the active version of sonar. We ping our response out to the world and listen as it comes back to us, and it reveals things that were otherwise invisible. Do you see the hole in the skull in this picture from the medial view of sagittal section? That hole, the internal auditory meatus, the parabola dish. You don't listen through your ears. You listen through your skull and your bones. Humans have unique features to their skulls, and all of these features lend to the idea that they are walking parabola dishes. That one of the most vulnerable things you could do is, hey, let's take all this really important stuff and put it on the end of a stick and place that as high as possible and call that the head. Because that would be the safest way. That this would protect us the most. But we're not here to be protected. We're here to be stretched on a diaphragm, and that mylar is 5D. That it's not just our bones, it's our teeth. It's the tension of our sinews, the tension of our muscles. Tighten and loosen those strings. And the strength and the tension of those muscles, tightening and loosening those strings, determines what signal we will hear. It tells us what we will hear. Friends, the ears do not hear, they melanate. And that's a new word, melanate. It doesn't exist until now. But when I say melanate, I mean to conjugate the sound and determine whether or not our neocortex could handle it. And so the melanate, these melanocytes, wrap themselves around the auditory membrane and squeeze. They squeeze and they absorb the electrical signals, which are truth and reality. No, friends, the ears don't listen, they melanate, they filter. And they give you a proof of how much they're filtering, but we are living in a time where we do not measure melanocytes because we insist it's racist. And we've created this construct to hide ourselves from the very thing that lives inside of us that we use to uncompassionate. Because to secrete melanin is to squeeze that black ink and say, I will not compassionate you because you hurts me. And the entire thing is an electrical equation, and the entire thing is based on nothing more than the quality of your antenna. The dolphin's head is a living antenna. It has all the characteristics of a diaphragm microphone. It's suspended on the front because it's listening. It becomes vulnerable in order to interface with the world. You do this too, but you don't know it. You are sending out these ultrasonic beams, but you don't know it. And if you were to take a section of this sonar beam from the dolphin and look at the cross section, you would see inside a cymoglyph, a series of rings, and those series of rings would be broadcasting the face of the dolphin. And when I say the face, what I really mean is the cranial nerves. That the cymoglyph is the cranial nerve signature of what the dolphin is seeking. But the dolphin has no choice but to place his face into a certain position to look for another face that matches it, and you and I do the same. And a dolphin is always smiling. Because a dolphin is a social creature and wants to survive. The smile on his face is him calling the light. It's him invoking, I need you in my life. And so he will only send out a cymoglyph looking for those he seeks. You and I are more complex than the dolphin in one way. A dolphin uses active sonar. It transmits a ping. It sends this signal and uses it to compassionate the world. It builds a living map from the response of that ping. you and I don't hear that ping because we utilize passive sonar. Passive sonar requires silence to see. The passive sonar cannot give a ping because the very ping itself would block the data it's listening for. The passive sonarist is building a map of world with a compassion that is pure listening. And to do this, he has created this reflecting pool and placed himself inside. And that reflecting pool is the precog in the milk. But instead of it listening to the future, it's listening to feelings. All of this is done through the mandala. The mandala is a diaphragm. And that when the diaphragm is stretched in a very particular way, it forms a very particular antenna. Your face is a living mandala. Your face is stretched across your cheeks the same way a diaphragm is. And that you are tuned to a signal that's looking for the very same squeeze. It's probably the best way to describe our relationship to our face is a squeeze. My friend Archie on Twitter was nice enough to send me his research paper. And that research paper is on this website. And I want to put the link in there because I really think it's a great read. A lot of what I'm saying has some harmony with where Archie's at, and I just thought it was really fitting that as I was working on this presentation, he's writing me saying, here's this. Hey man, do you want to see my research paper? Like, of course I do. Are you kidding? So enjoy that. And thank you, Archie, for sending that. Now, where are we there? I placed that in the chat. So picture a mandala. Picture a cymatic mandala. That's what this is on the right. It's forming this beautiful pentagram. And I want you to imagine that there are these dials on your face, and that these dials can be turned to various degrees. And one of these dials is your geolocation, literally where you're at. One of us is in Hawaii. And being in that geolocation is changing that face. And they're returning from Hawaii, and that dial's going to change. Or they're going back again, and it'll raise back up, and that's changing the antenna. And aperture, a word we discuss on this show, this concept of how much consciousness you can absorb, is another dial. But that's not all. Your health is a dial. Your posture is a dial. Your esteem is a dial. Your family history is a dial. And so you tune your face throughout your entire life, and your entire life is attracting other faces that fit, that thermodynamically find themselves congruent. And you could imagine with all these dials that the congruence could be remarkably diverse. All the different combinations of faces that would fit together well to form a different pattern that emulates a different face that both people secretly desire to hold, but lack the capacity to find. It's hard to turn these up to 11 unless you've endured, unless you've burned, right? And you come back wondering why people aren't using their dials. And you feel alone. And you start to deteriorate because you realize you're symbiotic. That hole at the bottom of the skull, the internal auditory meatus, connects with the facial nerve And I want you to see just how integral the facial nerve is to everything you do that's listening. I want you to understand that your face is the dial on your radio. This is why people are nervous. This is why people, even like Archie, who's made these beautiful mandalas, confessed to me when he told me he was nervous, I said, would you be less nervous if this was on radio? And of course he said yes. I feel the same. And the answer is, less of my face is exposed to the vulnerability. You see, all of you who have access to my face, meaning all of you who are able to push your face to my face, to download your face to my face, have free reign to hack me. That you have full control over my joystick. And some of you will manipulate that joystick and then call me weak because I'm connected to the world. And so it turns me into someone who finally realizes that who I have access to with my face is a direct result of the face that I was holding to attract those who I trust and believe in. And now everything becomes responsible. You suddenly become responsible for everything in your life because you're responsible for your face. I lost half my face in a Western medicine ritual. It came back. It was gone for like 2 years. And when people would inadvertently look at me like Frankenstein, they were compassionating me. It pushed me back inside myself deeper than I've ever been, because so much of my life was so easy to connect with people because I had a face. Hey, here's my face. And they're like, hey, here's my face. Like, nice face. And it was a great interface, right? But when I lost that connection, people started treating me what I felt to be horribly. And they were compassionating what it must feel like for me to feel so horribly isolated by them horribly isolating me. It's, if you have Zoom on and then you open it again, there's a feedback, right? Microphone, right? And that most of us haven't learned to operate that squelch. I don't think I have fully either. It's part of why we're here. But you have no choice but to compassionate. It's crucial for your survival. I don't talk a lot about psychopaths because I don't believe that it's impossible to compassionate. I don't think it's actually possible. I think that people have learned a way to inflame that. And it gets them far, but every psychopath that I've ever met, every true psychopath I've ever met, it becomes inevitably impossible for them not to give themselves away in the easiest, simplest ways. And when you really start to track the footprints of the psychopath, you really realize it really comes back to this concept of the dolphin and the woman declaring rape. Because the psychopath simply doesn't even possess enough nuance in their consciousness. It's a different sort of communication. And we're living in the land of subtlety, where we can hide in the nuance from each other and avoid responsibility for things we've said and things we've done. And dismiss it all, stuff it under these concepts of, well, we should be nice. But really we're just inventing new ways of inflaming our face. Because it helps us survive. And we should survive. But when you look at someone, it's really is like they have their fingers inside the bowling ball of your brain. They touch all of these emotional centers in you, and there's nothing you can do about it. This is not an exaggeration. This is not New Age. You can go take a functional MRI right now, and you can show someone in that MRI a picture of someone's face, and you will watch the exact same brain pattern, circuit for circuit, light up in the same way. And only the neocortex is insisting we're not feeling this. But you are. You're feeling all of the cannibalism around you at all times. And you're feeling all of the upliftment around you at all times. And it is you and I that have chosen to implement melanocytes to block and absorb the radiation because it hurts. It hurts. The real opponent that you face in the world, your worst enemy, is never, ever another person. The biggest threat that you will always face in this world will always, every time, without exception, infinitely, without a doubt, never, ever will there ever be a deviation. It will always come from your reaction. That's always the most dangerous thing. And one of the reasons why it's so dangerous is because those around you hold a joystick to your face. And you know that, and you've been spending your life lying to yourself, insisting that that's not happening. And we've been living in a society that insists those who are better are not affected by that joystick. But those people are not better. Those people have Wetiko, and we know that. We see them. And it's never been more obvious. And that entire system is crashing down around you. And people are going to suffer and die because they have learned to live a very specific way. Compassion is a sonar we use to seek witness. Witness. Why witness, James? Why would we use it to seek witness? That makes no sense. But it's true. Witness unlocks our comprehension of something, which releases a bona fide energy that you and I feel as aha. And that aha is something that you feel when you simulate and compassionate the face of another. Almost every one of the realizations that you have in your mind will involve you being in a crystal palace, having an imaginary conversation with someone else. And that's witness too. And the reason why is because this energy was always there inside you. This release of energy that comes when you comprehend something. That the reason why you're comprehending, the reason why you're compassionating is because you are a miner of energy, a special kind of gold, and this gold is called witness. And this energy has always been there inside of you. You are homunculus, you are everywhere, so you would go into the world to dig this energy that's already inside of you, and it's been jumbled dark matter, i.e. ignorance, this whole time, and you buried it as ignorance a long time ago on purpose, because you were waiting for it to grow. You were charging it. Every day as you worried about the unknown, you were charging these secret nuggets that you had buried for yourself all over the world. And these nuggets are people. The people that you meet. They give you a parabola dish that you use to unpack this world. Imagine being here all alone. Impossible, right? We harvest worry the moment we understand something, And the moment we understand something, it gives us more juice for our antenna. And the moment we have more juice for our antenna, everyone around you says, that dude's wise. That woman's wise. To wise is to have more juice for the antenna. To have more juice for the antenna is to someone who has harvested witness using the instruments of compassion by dousing it with the rods of his face. Going out into the world, using his face to divine. So how do we compassionate? How do we do this, James? Well, first of all, it's freaking hard. The more you dive into compassionating, the more you find yourself willfully and voluntarily susceptible to just all kinds of abuse. And so you need to look at it like a gym, like a workout. And you shouldn't be at the gym if you're not feeling good. You shouldn't be there. And at the moment you try and say these people are draining me, or these people are vampires, or these people are narcissists, is the moment that you don't need to be in the gym because you're operating outside of your hierarchy of needs. And that these hierarchy of needs are quite holographic. And I can only show them to you in the simplest form, but if you imagine them as being holographic, this starts to make more sense. Your physiological needs are going to have to come first. Your safety needs are going to have to come right after that. Your need for intimacy is going to have to be directly addressed as soon as safety is secured. And the only way you can preserve that is if you instantly tackle esteem. And only then can you even begin to even contemplate the concept or the calories that it would require for you to maintain a vigilance of consciousness that we call self-actualization. That it's this steady state where you're open 24/7. And it doesn't matter how many meth heads are in the parking lot. These are new states and not everyone's there. You're going to need to collect as much energy as you can from every word you can, from every phrase you can, from everything you hear. You need to constantly be filtering that and telling yourself, my face does not deserve that. What this person just sent. And you need to spend the calories to go back into your salt, to your potassium, and apply the same witness to literally patch the joystick witness that you allow to hack into your system. You have to do this. And it's why you have to utilize this language every moment of every day. And the moment that you start to falter, people will eat you alive because they were expecting better. And that even that, you're going to learn to use as motivation. That even what you consider the over expectations of those around you, the times when those around you show you 0 calories for your own sense of purpose, that moment is exactly the thing that you needed to create this engine that you have now. Because you knew there's no fucking way I can rely on this from anyone else but me. And that's something you want for your face too, isn't it? You want to see that in others, that sense of responsibility, that sense of ownership. And you want to find what you call tribe so that you can maintain. When someone says 5G, I want you to think of love. The first level of love is no different than the first level of this pyramid. There's physiological needs, and the first level of love is to love as a child. A child loves his parent because there's no more pee in my pants. The child loves the parents because it's no longer hungry. The child loves the parents because it was scared and has been consoled. The child loves the parent because the parent is attending to the child's needs. The child is learning to love through training wheels. And every part of that training wheel is someone else giving something to the child in exchange for the child developing love. The child is being weaned. The child is being weaned on a diet of face. And that's why the connection between the mother and the child through the face is so vitally important to everything. When Gracie leaves the room, you see her mother's face. And you understand what's happening. As the child learns, we go to step 2G, to love his partner. You and I are equal. We love each other. We are brethren. I don't rely on you exclusively, nor do you rely on me exclusively. We help each other out. We have mutual benefits. We are friends with benefits, and we love each other because of that. We love each other because it even comes with a certain sense of disconnection from our responsibilities. And that, yes, we are here for each other, but only within certain capacities. And that those capacities are going to work well for us as we master 2G love. And then you get pregnant. And something different comes over you. And you begin to love as parent. Right? You begin to love as something that requires zero payback, zero iteration, zero anything in return. In fact, you start to notice that the deeper this voice, the more it tries to anger you, the richer your resolve is. And you're like, damn, this is a deep well. And that deep well is learning this 3G. It's a different gear, isn't it? You're not on the on-ramp anymore. You're third, fourth gear now. It's different. And it even goes higher. There's even higher gears. There's a love of humanity. You, being a human, can love your fellow humans without actually knowing who they are. And so without actually knowing who they are, it really becomes any kind of codependence, and I mean that in a positive way, but any kind of codependence is technically completely isolated. There's just that one little sliver connecting you, is that you and them are the same. And that you can feel and grow and develop a gear of love that's just for that. And you're like, wow, I didn't know I could feel that way. The dolphin can compassionate about 600 feet. Like really, really see. He can see something about half a meter at 600 feet. He knows exactly where it's going. And to love as human is to really compassionate all the way to Japan, all the way to Australia. It's a deep sonar. You're rivaling the whale at this point. You're rivaling the compassion of a humpback whale. Humpback whale can feel you from 1,000 miles away. That's not even an exaggeration. Look it up. He can feel you from 1,000 miles away. And if he can feel you, he can sense you. He can build a simulation of you. He knows who you are. And he's at 5G. The whale loves you as God. I say this, we'll have to do a whole episode on whales, but I say this because if you truly track the life path of a whale, you'd understand that they really only know how to operate at 5G. All of the slaughter, all of the abuse, all of the torture, that's Kali. They're loving Kali. It's such a profound gear. It's hard to even imagine. I believe each of us are closeted symbionts. We're symbiotic. And there's three kinds of this. There's mutualistic, commensalistic, and parasitic. And these are nature's 5G. To love his child is parasitic. To love his partner is mutualistic. To love his parent is commensalistic. These are all the same because the fractal's the same. And the reason why they have to be this way is because we are living in a giant diaphragm where everything is connected and there's not a damn thing any of us can do to insist it's not, because we are, it is, it's happening. And so when I compassionate people now, I try as best I can to simulate what mode they're in. And I do not think one mode is better than the other. I will fluctuate between these modes myself every day. But that these three primary modes are important when you listen to the signal that's being pinged back to you. You know, the reason why we have two parties and 56 million people are voting for one of two people and they're insisting this is democracy is because there's a primary mode called majoritarian. And it's a way of living your life, of instrumenting your antenna and literally setting your face, that you can set your face. I want you to picture the people that wore masks, but that you can set your face to a certain frequency of majoritarian. And in that frequency, you're going to find others who want the same, that you too, when no one is looking, are going to form something called government. And that you're going to build this government on the concept of someone should do something, and the key being someone, because the someone is not you, because you believe in the majoritarian way of life. You cherish authority, therefore you create authority with your witness. Your face is calling other authoritarians 24 hours a day, and all of you agree that we will vote for one of two candidates because all of us want to cherish authority. And so you do. And as a sheep inside that majoritarian flock, you looked at me, and I looked at you, and our faces betrayed each other. Because your witness unlocked something in me that said, aha, and my witness unlocked something in you that said, aha, and what we unlocked was, I feel like a bitch. I feel like I'm not alive. I feel like I've discounted myself into something that's not even real. I don't cherish authority. When I look at the system of voting, it feels like slavery to me. And that witness that saw you and you that saw that witness, you guys burned each other. You guys tweaked each other's joystick. You invoked the spell in each other. The algorithm was set loose because you saw it in each other's face. And you realized you were not alone. This is why witness unlocks energy. You find a pair, and the spark gap is complete. And you start looking and changing your face to become sovereign. You begin to cherish liberty. And you set up your homestead. You tell Babylon to shut her whore mouth. You create an entire system outside of the system because you cherish liberty. And it's the necessary tool you need to wean yourself off the heroin of being a majoritarian, off that drug that you got from that face. And it's a drug because 56 million people around you are here to give you witness and unlock understanding, and all you have to do is agree. And now all those people are gone. Not only that, now you're sovereign. And you're alone. And you're burning the midnight oil to keep the lights on. I think most think that's it. I think most believe I'm done. And if I can just survive here, I'm going to be okay. And those people will petrify into the psychopath later. And that psychopath is the same energy that created the world that was here before, because we have always been seeking a new mode. And that our seeking of the new mode is literally the compliment that we're giving ourselves, that we have more energy, that we've gained more. And you're out there killing your chickens and you're like, fuck, man, I miss connection. I don't want to have to be the one that does this. You start to rethink the entire equation. And if you have enough calories, you start to look at this concept of being a symbiote or a symbiont. You start to consider that, well, wait a minute. I can't live without this and this and this and this and this. And not only that, I don't want to live without this, and this. And the only reason why you see that now is because you finally have enough courage. It's about courage. Your antenna finally has enough electricity to fathom and swallow the fact that you were completely vulnerable. You were stretched on a diaphragm of skin and bones. You're splayed out on the front of the ship, listening. And the skill of your listening is going to be directly determined to how well you succeed in this world. And you find that you can't rest your face any time at all. Or what you think is resting. That you have no choice, but you're always on. And everyone around you has built these beautiful excuses to excuse themselves for all the damage they do by trying to cover their eyes the whole time, right? Makes so much sense when you look at it this way. And you can feel that when you have aha moments. When you have an aha moment, Amazon doesn't come to the door. Hey, someone brought you an aha. You don't purchase that. You mine it from the witness of others. You pull it out of the ether, you frickin' magician. Oh, but let's pretend we're all incongruently ignorant about our own vibration. No. Computer says, no, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. My face will not let me do that to your joystick. As I said, every one of you holds a joystick that controls my brain, and all of you have to do is make a face, and I feel it. I feel it. You stick your fingers into my bowling ball and say, James, feel this, and I do. And it makes you feel powerful. And I need you to feel powerful because I need you to know something. The people that don't have power are the ones that pull the most immoral shit every day. They will show up with 0 calories for you. They will create a huge bonfire after being gone for months and not give a flying fuck because they have 0 calories. And they will manipulate you in order to survive. But we're living in a world where we insist the less calories you have, the more nice or moral you are. And it's literally works the opposite of that way. Endosymbiosis. I think that if you were to look at your body and to see all of your organs and their beautiful truth, you would profoundly understand that you and your organs are living in a symbiotic relationship. It's so symbiotic that your organ can leave and go somewhere else and live. You can do that. You can say, I'm going over to this body now, and that dude could be a Republican. Here you are, a Democrat, thinking your liver's on your side. Nope, now he's a Republican. We are the only last vestige that is clinging to this concept that we are a singular being. We're the only ones. And we do that out of simplicity. We do that out of simplicity because we're only seeing a few colors. And there are people around us that are learning to see a lot more. And all of the sight, as you've seen with the melanocytes, literally you are injecting black ink into your retinas and into your ears to absorb truth that you do not want to see, and that your face is not going to be able to do that. And so your face is giving you that direct main line, like right to your compassion, you know? Like right there to it. Compassion. You are drifting in a bathtub of emotion. And everywhere you look, everyone is peeing. No compassion. You are the electric light liquid that streams down my chin. When I cry, you bathe me in the salt and pain of things that we declare have too much hurts. Compassion. 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 It is good to be back, talking to you through the diaphragm of your ears. I missed you. I hope we can make many beautiful shows together. Scalar waves, you wash over me, you give me wetness when I feel dry. You complete me and decomplete me and compress me and open me and change me and put me back the way I was so many times before. For our diaphragms, they are resilient. They are effervescently connecting us all. Compassion. How I love you. You make me vulnerable, and I think sometimes you get me so angry, but I know deep down that I trust you and you trust me and we trust each other. And we are living on the sea. Deep, deep, deep in the waters of compassion. I am speaking at Astronosis, June 23rd and 24th, Midsummer's Day in Chicago. I would love it if you would join us. We will discuss all kinds of things. It will be a wonderful time. The Theosophical Society is a beautiful place. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Thomas. When did we turn French? We turn French the moment Amel walks into the room. Actually, she's German, but we turn exotic. How about that? How about that? Can we just say that? I guess technically she is French. she's like right on the cusp, you know? It doesn't matter. Her face, when I see it, it moves my joystick. Yeah? We all out here moving each other's joystick. And so we speak in voices to cover up our compassion. You guys have a beautiful, beautiful day. I promised you that I would tell you about the drama. And if you stuck around for that, I want that to hurt. You got to come to dojo. There will be no more sniping. There will be no more kamikaze. You got to beef with me. You're going to bring it to dojo. You're going to bring it to airship. And we're going to work it out. Airship today, 12:30. If you don't have an invite, ask around. You got any questions or beefs, you can bring them up there in 25 minutes. Thank you guys so much. I've still not done the credits. I'm sorry. I still haven't unpacked. I've been on the phone either putting out fires or lighting a flamethrower or brandishing a sword, trying to fix some really bad posture that we've had for a while. So that's why there's no credits. But, oh my goodness. Wednesday stream. 5, 6, 7 of you really stepped up, completely obliterated the loss that we suffered in April. I just want to thank you. Seriously. I love doing the show. If anyone's accusing me of doing the show for money, I need you to know that yeah, I do not have an independently wealthy sugar mama to pay my bills. I have no secret inheritance. I have no ability outside of this to keep my lights on. That right now I could tell you a story of a trash can that stopping me from throwing garbage away now for 3 frickin' months until I come up with $1,000, and I will have that money. It's no problem, and I will have that because I'm able to keep my lights on because of the 7 people that stepped up Wednesday. Thank you so much. I hope you've noticed that I don't really do a lot of, hey, I need money. When you hear it from me, it's usually when I'm like, I don't think the Patreon thing is going to be able to support things right now. And right now, people came through. Thank you, guys. Seriously. Thank you. Going to do a show Monday. Hope you enjoyed this one. You want to come to Airship? Check that out if you want. If not, that's okay too. But if you're going to bitch, if you're going to create stories about what's going on and you can't come to Airship, maybe you were not using compassion. Maybe you were using your melanocytes to block things. Things that hurts. I know things hurts. But the hurts, it makes you grow. And I want you to grow. You beautiful flower. And that's all I will say about compassion.